Hello, everyone. It's Suzanne again. Okay, I have had so much feedback about the very lengthy astrological predictions for 2020 that I've tried to do a shorter version of this so that it's short and sweet, and just kind of know that there's a very long astrological explanation for the predictions of 2020 on my YouTube channel, Facebook, and on my websites. You are more than welcome to dive deeply into all the details and reasons behind the astrology that I've put out there. But I'm not going to try and go into all the, all the planets and all the aspects and all the angles and, the dates and all this kind of stuff, because it just starts to make everybody's head spin. So we're going to try and make this just be like a flow pattern. So hopefully this will make some more sense to you guys. The focus this year is going to be on finding out how to maintain stability and manage to make constructive changes in the midst of highly destructive forces that have been astrologically unleashed. Remember, these astrological aspects were in place before any of us were born. I don't believe in blame or shame. I believe in constructive awareness that deals with the issues in honest and compassionate ways. To make such a powerful shift in the global consciousness, often terrible and very upsetting things have to happen, such as the astrology for this next year. There will not be one thing, but a series of very upsetting things that will combine to force issues out of the realms of conspiracy theories and into the harsh light of reality. Understand, these are global issues, not just national. Expect impacts in the areas of natural disasters that have a terrible human, environmental, and financial impact on everyone. The responsibility turns back on us starting January 8th, right at the beginning of the year, and forces us to recognize that we have to heal the genetic wounds that we have been carrying, perpetuating, and passing down for centuries. It's time to put a stop to habits, beliefs, and patterns that continue dysfunctional energies that serve no one anymore and perpetuate suffering in this world. Then, on January 12th, the massive impact of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that will continue throughout the year happens. It will gain in power and impact as the year continues. So don't just think that this is happening just on January 12th and then we're over it. It's like the impact of this is moving so slowly because of Pluto that it will feel like it continues throughout the year. The summer eclipses in June and July are going to change everything that you believed was true. Those changes are personal and global. Make sure that you pay off your credit cards, keep secure jobs, and don't overextend this year. The potential for financial collapse is high in the summer. Remember that there is always a global sacrifice that has to be paid eventually. After all, we live in a domain where there are karmic consequences to all actions, inactions, choices, and stuckness. These rules and laws are older than time, and none of us can change those ancient universal truths. Self-sufficiency is going to be the key for personal and bigger world issues. We have the tools to depend on ourselves. We have solar, we have wind, we have technology, we have all these incredible things that we can use more and better in order to make this work. It is up to us to use them and to not allow those things to be used as political games of complacency to appease those with power, oil, money, and influence. Authenticity will begin to cut through the chaos of the egos and make the choices critically essential and therefore simple. The summer is intense with the eclipses because they are compounded by 5 other planets in retrograde at the same time. At the very least, the election process is going to be the greatest embarrassment in the history of the United States. Now, I'm not saying that because you guys think a certain thing. I'm saying that because of the masses reacting, fighting, violence. It's an embarrassment to a high-level democracy that supposedly America is, that we've got this kind of infighting and this kind of split in our reality, that it's an embarrassment for the world to be looking at us with all of this craziness and chaos. At worst, we will head for those in power to attempt to gain unconscionable power over others, leading us down the path to war, natural disasters, and earthquakes. Now, again, this is global. I mean, if you take a look out there in the world, there's a lot of leaders in a lot of countries that are highly questionable in their efficacy and their ability to be morally honest and consistent. So it's not just here, okay? It's absolutely everywhere. In astrology, every 19 years, we have something called the Metonic Cycle. This is where eclipses come back around to the same signs, approximately the same degrees. And that is the problem, because the eclipses in June and July hit the same places as 9/11/2011. While I do not ever, ever, ever want such a thing to happen on American soil again, we have to keep an eye out and look ahead to protect this country. That is why the more people become aware, the more we have the ability to prevent terrible occurrences. So the astrology for this year, 2020, is even intense at the very end of the year. In fact, the last eclipse in December on the 21st, which is winter solstice, is probably the most important of the year, because at that point, barriers will have been broken down and the old feelings of frustration and impossibility are going to begin to be transformed into the next thing. So let's review on the astrology for 2020. We're focused on 3 major power planets in Capricorn. Capricorn is all about the rules of government, systems, power plays, and the old dogmatic ways that are no longer working. Pluto is about rigid control and many hidden secrets. It is also about the karmic consequences that come from things being hidden for too long. Jupiter wants everything out in the open, seen, illuminated, and expanded. And Saturn is all about the structures and building blocks that make up civilizations. Saturn wants to construct, build anew, and create things that will stand the test of time. Pluto wants to tear down the old, and Jupiter wants to illuminate the things that have not been addressed. Then when you get Neptune and Pisces mixed in with it all, the illusions and the lies of this world become revealed. And that combination is not good for those who have helped put the world into such a state. There could be massive arrests of government officials and employees, jail for most. Treason, after all, is a huge offense, punishable by death in the old days. What makes this year one to remember is that the masses can collapse into forms of hysteria and confusion. The conspiracies that have plagued our world are not going away anytime soon. The collapse of support structures that have kept things together can fuel mass extremism and righteousness. With 5 planets also retrograde during the summer eclipses, it makes for a time when so many are being pulled down and under, only to crawl their way back up to fight again. Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto will all be duking it out, forcing everyone to attack, blame, step back, and lash out in a vain attempt to have some sort of control through righteous indignation. The louder someone becomes, the more fear they feel. Everyone will want to blame someone. The truth is, we are all to blame in this, because we are all here at this very significant time in history for a reason and a purpose. The stars tell a story that was written before any of us were ever born. Choosing to be here now is about owning that you wanted to see and experience a monumental shift in consciousness, and you wanted to be a part of it. So this is not about living or dying. If you do not win if you survive. It is about what you do with this time and how much you hold your integrity to the sacred laws that are what promote all forms of life and growth on this planet. So, hopefully that's a little easier and a little less stressful than the big one. Talk to you later. Enjoy. Bye.